forest titans, wielding incredible strength and devastating weaponry. These majestic creatures are capable of withstanding the harshest of weather conditions, but the vagaries of the elements aren't their only concern. Despite their peaceful herbivorous nature, these ungulates are always prepared to defend themselves, their families, and their territory with astonishing ferocity. Hello, dear friends. Welcome back. I hope this message reaches you well, and the heroes of today's video are the far from defenseless moose, one of nature's most impressive heavyweights. Elks are the undisputed champions of the deer family, behemoths among their kind. With imposing bodies stretching up to 3 meters in length and males capable of tipping the scales at over half a ton, these forest giants demand respect. And what crowns these titans? Their magnificent antlers, which in some instances can weigh upwards of 30 kilograms, making them walking fortresses. Of course, finding yourself in close proximity to such colossal beasts is hardly a recipe for relaxation, but fortunately, these gentle herbivores generally pose little threat to humans, but I would not get too close. There is one exception, the volatile mating season. During the fall, testosterone-fueled males become raging bulls, ready to drive away any and all creatures that dare step onto their battleground, be it rival moose or something a bit more, what they see as intrusive. The primal need to test the strength of their antlers against anything that moves overwhelms even the most basic instincts of vigilance and caution, so it's best not to stand in the way of a lovesick leviathan. At other times of the year, moose are remarkably peaceful and often surprisingly curious, sometimes even approaching humans to get a better look at these strange upright creatures. You should also avoid intruding on a moose cow with her calves. While 1-year-old adolescents are comparatively less defenseless and the cow behaves more calmly, the first few months of life for a calf are a period of complete dependence on its mother. This time makes her incredibly wary and she'll be willing to fight to the death. During this time, even the so-called owner of the forest, the formidable brown bear, can find himself in a very sticky situation. This apex predator may be used to ruling the roost, but even it knows better than to test the mettle of such an aggressive creature, so just in case, the clubfoot decides to live to fight another day and retreats. Defenseless elk calves are a favored prey item for hungry bears, so the moose mother makes it abundantly clear with all the might she possesses that getting too close to her offspring is an invitation to a life-threatening confrontation. It's not easy to catch moose by surprise. They lack keen eyesight, but they make up for it with excellent hearing, capable of distinguishing subtle rustles from hundreds of extraneous sounds. Their sense of smell is even more highly developed. Their massive muzzles are packed with millions of nerve endings that constantly analyze the tapestry of odors carried by the forest breeze. Therefore, in most instances, moose are acutely aware of the presence of strangers well in advance and attempt to vacate the danger zone, which is made easy by their incredibly long legs. The speed of a fleeing moose can exceed 50 kilometers per hour, and not every predator can keep up with such a skilled runner. But determined bears still pose a significant risk not only to vulnerable calves but also to fully grown adults. While a clubfoot can also muster impressive speed, it's unlikely to keep pace with the long-legged ungulates through difficult terrain. Therefore, the bear quickly abandons its venture, choosing not to waste precious energy on a pursuit that's almost certain to end in failure. Although persistence is the strong point of the brown predator, and driven by the allure of an immense meal, it may prolong the chase even in far from comfortable conditions. But now the hard-to-navigate snow gives way to a life-saving pond. Unfortunately for the pursuer, the elk is a skilled swimmer, and even kilometers of open water presents no barrier for this powerful animal. One may assume that with its wide paws, the bear would quickly overtake its prey, but its dense physique and incredibly thick skin are more of a hindrance than a help in this situation. Therefore, no matter how much it would like to claim its trophy, the clubfoot is forced to concede defeat and return to the shore empty-handed. Moose live exclusively in the northern hemisphere, so besides the bear, there is only one predator capable of consistently challenging these forest giants. In winter, moose are especially vulnerable. Poor nutrition and deep snow are not the best allies. This is exactly what hungry hunters take advantage of. In such conditions, escaping predation is incredibly difficult because wolves are fast, hardy, and very persistent. They are able to chase their quarry for hours without slowing, depriving the fugitives of their last reserves of strength, and the chase often ends in favor of the pack. In summer, the situation can drastically change. The life of moose is intricately connected with the element of water. These animals can spend hours wading through swampy lowlands, finding relief from biting insects and foraging for food, which they eat directly from the bottom of ponds and lakes. Therefore, in case of danger, these watery havens become a refuge for the entire family. Due to their long legs, moose are able to stand calmly in areas where other animals are forced to swim. Even despite their numerical superiority, wolves don't always choose to attack in such scenarios, especially when the mother is fiercely protective. But if the temptation proves too great, not even a water barrier can stop these determined predators. In a dangerous situation, a moose cow will curl up her ears, raise her fur on end, and charge at the offender with all her might, using her deadly hooves as a weapon. Wolves are generally agile enough to avoid targeted attacks, and their tried and true tactic is to lure the mother out, separating her from the vulnerable calf and attacking the defenseless young. It seems that the predators have every chance of success in their sinister plan. However, the moose cow rushes to defense in time, scattering the pack and leaving the wolves empty-pawed once again. At the same time, predators know that the prey is not going anywhere, and they have enough time to finish what they started. In the fall, the strongest males engage in brutal combat, sorting out the hierarchy and fighting for the right to procreate. After a preliminary display of strength, they resort to their main weapon, their antlers. These fierce battles can last for hours and continue on day after day. Such grueling tests significantly exhaust the participants, and before winter descends, they must replenish their fat reserves. Thus, wounded or weakened ungulates become easy prey for opportunistic predators. Overall, despite the constant attention from predators, the pressures of poaching, and harsh habitat conditions, these magnificent animals continue to thrive throughout much of their range, with their numbers remaining stable and, in some areas, even continuing to grow. However, deforestation is forcing ungulates to increasingly move closer to human settlements, and even in bustling cities, elk are no longer a rare sight. Many animals are tragically killed on roads every year. To secure a positive future for these majestic giants, it is imperative that we adopt a more careful and responsible attitude towards nature, taking into account the needs, interests, and lifestyle of the moose, creating a harmonious coexistence between human activity and the delicate balance of the natural world. Did you enjoy this episode as much as I did? If so, give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and make the most of your time. See you soon.